What do you feel on your tongue?
Like melted chocolate.
Okay, what else? It tastes buttery to me. It's perfectly sweet, not too much sugar. Okay? And I can smell it, that it was freshly baked. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, right? It's just right, isn't it? Okay? So 0 being the worst and 10 being the best. Where does this muffin fall on that scale? Start with you and we're gonna go around the room. Just be honest.
I feel like a 9.
What would make it a 10?
If it was like less burnt a little.
Okay?
9.
What would make it a 10?
It's an 8.
Okay?
7.5, I agree.
What would make it an 8?
An 8? If the paper thing, like the muffin wrapper, didn't stick to the burnt part on the bottom.
Okay?
That's good. An 8.5.
What would make it a 9?
Less of the burn.
Okay?
A 9 is less of the burn as well.
Okay?
A 9 for it to be a little bit more soft.
A little more soft? Okay?
9 was
Okay?
7. The cupcakes salt on the bottom.
What would make it an 8?
It can also less burnt.
Less burnt? Okay? All right, so I give it a 9. And I wouldn't make it an 8, I wouldn't make it a 10. It's a perfect 9 for me because it was from scratch. It was made properly, meaning it rose up perfectly. You didn't overfill the muffin cup. You didn't underfill it. It's right at the top where it's supposed to be. Everybody see that? And the other thing is, there's some things that we can control with baking, and there's things that are out of our control. So what's out of our control? When we put it in the oven, right? The oven has to do the work. So here's how I know why part of it is burned. Because in the back of the oven, is that gonna be the hottest or the coolest?
Hottest.
Okay, so the muffins, I presume that were farthest to the back, are probably the most done. So how can we rectify that in baking? What can we do?
Like, say if there were not a ton of us, then
Okay.
we could put it in the middle
Okay,
and put it horizontal.
okay, what else can we do?
We can switch sides of the tray.
Okay, anybody else have a guess? These are all great answers, as long as you're thinking. The number one thing you do when you're making muffins, we didn't do it here because, again, it's just an experiment, we're all learning, is halfway through the baking, we flip it around. Okay? And that would have resulted in a not burnt muffin. All right, so great observations from everybody. Now let's all try. I'm gonna cut it in half because there's more people than there are muffins. Okay, you guys mind if I cut these small ones in half?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just grab it?
Yep, just take a muffin half, please. Watch out for the knife.
Yeah.
And then smell it. Use your senses. What are our senses? Can somebody tell me a sense?
Smells.
Okay? So I use all my senses whenever I'm baking. My most powerful sense is my sense of smell. I can smell when it's done. All right, so we just talked about chocolate chip muffins. Now we're talking about berry muffins. Let's go around the room and tell me what you guys are feeling.
It's not.
Okay, tell me, what do you think? Talk about it.
There's no berry.
Okay?
It's a little bland.
Okay? Talk about it. Okay? What would you say about it?
It's very not. It's too bland.
Okay.
Some of them don't even have berry.
Okay? Okay? It's okay? What would make it better than just okay? Chocolate chips, okay?
It's like really sour.
Really sour? Okay.
There's like, it's like really good, but I just don't have my favorite.
So texture-wise, it's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no berries.
Okay, so here's what I like. I like the crunch from the oatmeal that you put on top. That gives it a little more sweetness. I didn't get any berries in mine. Now, how can we adjust that if we make this again? What can we do? Add more what? Okay. Now, I got those berries from the salad bar where we get our salad and our fruit. And would you say a blackberry is bitter or sweet?
It can be bitter.
So how do we counteract a bitter berry?
With the sweet oatmeal.
What else can we do to make it sweet?
With the other food.
Add more what?
Sugar.
Yes, so we could have added a little bit of sugar to the berries, but again, we're just experimenting, right? So I'm sure if we were to make these muffins, a second time, you guys would definitely get it better and improve, right? Okay, anything else that we noticed about the muffin? There's a difference between the chocolate chip muffins and the berry muffins, and it clearly stands out. Can anybody guess what it is?
Well, ours have like granola on top.
Right? What else?
We're using completely different like flavors and like texture kind of.
Yes, yes,
One's more bitter with sweet, a little bit of sweet, which one's more sweet.
yes,
One is very sweet that probably needs to be a little more.
yes. You guys are awesome. So that's one reason why I wrote this up here. What does this one say?
Sweet, salty, sour, bitter, savory.
So in that muffin, what do you think we had? Sweet, and what else?
Sour.
Okay. In the chocolate chip, what did we have?
Sweet,
And salty. Okay. So these are just kind of flavor profiles when you're baking. They can all actually go together. Any way you put them, they can go together. They balance each other out. So that's kind of what you want to do when you're baking something. Do these flavors go together? Now, somebody said to mix the chocolate chip and the berry. How would that taste?
A little weird.
Why would it taste weird?
I don't think sweet, salt, bitter, like sour would go together. Those aren't the best.
Okay.
They're completely opposite idea
Okay.
of the type of muffin or dessert.
Great observation. Okay. So you wouldn't really make hey, you want to try my chocolate chip blackberry muffin? How do you think people will look at you when you're like,
What do you want about it?
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Different berry.
Okay. Like what kind of berry you think?
Like maybe like a strawberry.
Yes. Why?
Because there's
Like,
Yes. Okay.
they go with chocolate.
Now,
It's kind of
okay. Now, do you think we could put the oats on top and on the chocolate? Why?
Because there's
Okay. Anybody else have an observation with that? Okay, good. So you guys are thinking. So that's what baking is all about. It's trial and error. It's mistakes. It's do these flavors go together? Now, I have tasted some crazy muffins before. I have tasted a muffin with cherry and rosemary. Think about that. It was so delicious. All right, cool. All right, so let's taste the muffin and let's break it down. Let's see.
definitely more.
Okay, so what are we tasting here on the spectrum? What are we tasting?
Tastes better.
Okay, anything stand out to you?
It's less sour and bitter, and it's more like sweet.
More sweet? Okay. Anybody else have a different, any different flavor on their tongue?
I think this size works with the amount of stuff in the plate.
Okay, why?
Because I think it needs more of like the actual like batter in it and like more berries too. Just
Okay.
ratio is better.
Now, what was going through the group's head when they were adding the berries? What were you guys thinking?
We don't want to add too much
Why?
because we didn't want a lot of berries in because
I would probably burn the flour.
And it would overpower like
It would overpower the flavor? Okay. Okay. All right, cool. All right.
I like big ones.
You like the larger ones better than the smaller?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So whenever you're at home and you're sort of baking something, this is what I usually do. I usually do exactly what I did to you. I taste it, I kind of break it down and what is it missing? What can I add? Did I underbake it? Do you think they're overbaked? Or do you think they're just right?
I think they're just right.
Just right?
They aren't burnt sticking to the
Okay.
wrapper, but they're still like nice and toasty. Like the wrapper like that I could find from.
Okay.
It's like slightly toasted, but kind of with some toast, and it still comes off.
Would you give it the same number as the smaller ones? You give it a 9?
This one I would give like
A 10? Okay.
like a
7? Maybe like an 8?
An 8? Okay, what would make it a 9?
I think it's too sour. It's like a berry.
It's still too sour for you? Okay. All right, awesome.
7.
A 7? What would make it an 8? Okay. All right, now that you made a muffin from scratch, and you know the taste that is from scratch, will you think of muffins that are not from scratch? Will you think of them differently now?
yeah.
Okay.
Like now I want to make my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to experiment with that.
Okay. All right, awesome. Okay, thank you guys. You can't see it, but there's holes in it like a rosette. And I'm gonna grab a spatula. So what am I doing right now as I'm telling you what I'm grabbing? What am I doing? I'm getting all my equipment first, right? Okay. So I have a spatula here. In case I mess up, I can take it off and do it over. Got my piping bag. I have sprinkles. These sprinkles look a little old. Those aren't mine, so I'm gonna use the ones that I brought. I'm a plain guy, so I like plain stuff. So I'm gonna use these plain sprinkles. And then I'm gonna use this spray. It's rose gold. It'll make it shiny and shimmery. Okay, so then I'm missing. So if you notice, it's just plain white icing. Yep, so I can color this any color I want from white, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do is take my piping bag, put it in the cup, put the sides down. I'm gonna take this spoon here. Now you kind of want your icing to be a little chilled, a little at room temperature. Because if you have chilled icing in a piping bag, what's gonna happen? It's not gonna come out, right? So, I have my icing here. I'm gonna put some in my piping bag. Oh wait, I missed a step. Let me wash this off. Where's my rag? I skipped a whole step. So you have to cut your piping bag for the tip. So I'm just gonna use a knife. So what I usually do is I line up the tip on the piping bag and I cut a little bit before it. And then when I put it inside, it's perfect. Everybody see that? Put it inside the cup. And the cup is just basically so it stands up straight as I'm filling it. Some people you'll notice they'll do this and they'll hold it on their hand. But I like to do it this way. I always like to have my hands free, okay? So I'm gonna fill up the piping bag. This is the same icing that we used for the cake decorating contest. Okay? How were those cakes? Did anybody get to try them? They were okay? All right, so then you want to ball it up and you want to press all the way down. You're pressing out all the air. And then you twist. Okay? Then you want to burp it. Everybody listen. Listen for the burp. Okay, there was no burp. That means I'm doing the right thing. Okay? So now that I have my piping bag ready, I'm gonna grab my cupcake. Now, if your cupcake wasn't even, you could slice it and make it even. your icing's gonna cover up any flaws, okay? So I start my rosette from the center and I work my way out. And my piping bag is always straight up and down. It's not like that, it's not like that, it's not like that, okay? You wanna apply even pressure. If you apply too much pressure, what's gonna happen? What's the icing gonna do?
It's gonna go all
If I apply little pressure, what's gonna happen? It's not gonna come out enough. So even pressure. This takes practice. I'm probably 0 out of 10, I'm probably about a 9 right now. Okay? That's a rosette. Everybody see that? Looks like a rose. So then, instead of decorating the whole cupcake with sprinkles, I like to bring a creative side into it. So I'll just do the outside. Okay, I left the middle open. So then I'll grab my glitter spray. You want to pump it a few times, get it going, and then there we are. It's shimmery. Everybody see that? You don't have to do it like this. There you go. Control. Control it. There you go. A little faster. All right. Nice job. You just did a rosette. All right. Let's squeeze out a little bit of this for you. Now, here's a little recommendation. You don't want to stop in the middle of it because you're going to have to go back to where you stop and start. Keep a constant motion. Straight up and down. There you go. Apply some pressure. There you go. Closer, tighter circle, tighter circle. Keep going. All right. Good job. All righty. How you feeling? Keep going. Oh, very good. All right, you'll finish there. Good job. So far, everybody can work in my bakery with me. You can cover that up with sprinkles, they'll never know. Okay? All right. There you go. Good pace. You have a very good pace. Okay. Good job.
Okay,
All right, let's fill this up. Let's fill this up a little more.
let's see if I will succeed or fail.
You'll succeed. You'll be fine.
And I'm not so sure.
Yeah, keep going. Good job. You did it. You did a rosette.